Speaking of Barcelona, they were in this neck of the woods, taking on Arsenal last night at SoFi Stadium. And surprising for some people, Kasey, Sergino Dest getting the start at right back. He played 45 minutes and didn't do too much, but did have some action here.
Well, I mean, I think the key for Sergino, I had a decent little talk with him after the Mexico game in the Leagues Cup, and just kind of asking him about, kind of what the plan is. And his plan was, as of right now, I'm a Barcelona player, and I'm going to go back and do everything I can to still be a Barcelona player. And that's what, look, if I'm Xavi, if I'm whoever, that's the only thing he can say.
Okay, but
right?
From his perspective, is that the right approach? Because we know Xavi in the past has said, I don't have a use for this player. The cynic in me is saying, well, if suddenly Barcelona are saying they're interested in this guy again, or they might have a use for him again, it's because they really want to put him in the shop window. We know they need cash, and that's what they're trying to do here. I don't necessarily believe that suddenly they're ready to take a genuine second look at Sergino Dest. Are you sure this is the right club for him at this point in his career?
Well, no.
Okay.
But he doesn't have any choice of that matter. All he can do is go play well and see what happens. He's a Barcelona player. He went to AC Milan. It didn't work. Okay, fair enough. Now he's back. What happens, Seb, if nobody's knocking on the door, let's say? What he has to do is say the right things, do the right things. You're also talking about a Barcelona side that is not going to be able to make massive signings. We know their financial troubles. He's there. Who knows what happens with injuries? Who knows what happens with form? Go there. Let Xavi know that you're capable. You can't do anything more than that. Show that you possibly could fill a void if needed. And if a suitor comes along and you're able to get the right club and the right deal and the right situation, great. But again, as a player, that's out of your control.
I'm curious what you think his level is. Like, if you were his agent, where would you place him? Where would you say, either this club or this league is the perfect level and style for Sergio?
Well, it's more than that, Seb. I mean, because the problem is you're also talking about salary. So you have to be able to say, if you're coming from a Barcelona, you're on a good salary. If you need to go somewhere to make sure you play, what kind of mechanisms are Barcelona going to put in place? Are they paying half your wages? Are they paying, how does that all work?
We know guys are willing to take less money. Like, we assume Christian Pulisic.
Christian took significantly less money, but you also don't know.
Why not ask the same of Sergino Dest?
Because I know the way the game.
What's the point of having all that money and not playing, Kasey?
But Seb, I also know that I don't know for sure, but I knew many, many players where it happened. I would not be surprised if Chelsea was paying the difference to what AC Milan is paying. So in his contract years left at Chelsea, he will make the same amount of money. Chelsea still saves a chunk. They get a player off their books. They get a transfer fee. It's all part of the deal. Maybe that has to be what happens for Dest to go to the right place. I think the tricky part that I see with Sergino, and I saw this early on at the national team, he's not really an outside back and he's not really a wing back. He doesn't defend as an outside back. And as a wing back role, there's not a lot of teams, particularly when you get into kind of a mid-table team that's playing with three at the back, and a guy that has this freedom to run. When you're playing in a team that's mid-table to lower mid-table, you're playing five at the back, and there's an expectation that your outside back is one of the hardest defenders because you're not going to have the ball. You're going to be defending for 60, 70% of the match. And so I think Sergino really needs to find that identity of exactly what he is.
I think when I think of Sergino Dest, he's like one of a lot of guys in this U.S. pool who are at a point in their career where they really need to nail the next move. Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, Balogun, you could even say, given his situation. Yunus Musa is one that we've talked about, linked heavily to AC Milan, but with everything that's happening in Valencia, definitely a guy that needs to move. Of those players,
I think Gio Reyna also is probably thrown into that equation.
You think so?
Well, just because he's a little bit younger, not so much. But I mean, there was talk that he was in this summer window, he was available to be sold. And so, yeah, I mean.
Who on that list is the most important for you to nail this move? McKennie, Adams, Balogun, Musa, if you want to throw Reyna in there. I don't think Reyna's really being shopped. He's not in
No. I mean,
places,
yeah,
but I know what you're talking
you know what I mean
Yes.
on that side of things. Either you have to reestablish yourself, or then you're taking the step down.
I'd say Weston McKennie for me is the one that's got to nail it.
Yes, because and Sergino falls that same. You're coming from a really big club, you went on loan, and you weren't successful. It's one thing if you're successful and now there's this big buzz about you and there's teams. You know, it was almost like so Christian has made that step. I mean, I still don't mind Tyler Adams staying at Leeds.
In the championship, really.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with them playing 50 games if they have a couple cup runs,
Right.
and getting that club back promoted. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
All right, you think that's enough to keep him in the national team? I mean,
Yes,
there's nobody
of
else
course.
in that
Yeah.
spot, right? He's just
That's no problem.
Yeah, he's so far ahead in that.
Yunus
part of the
Musa
depth
as
chart.
well, because I think what we saw a breakout where at a big club like Valencia, who's been having all kinds of problems. This isn't the Valencia that I played against. That's for sure.
No.
I mean, but when you're at a club too that is fighting relegation and you're not starring.
Yeah.
Again, we saw Yunus be the guy that was more offensive minded, but then they played him more defensively, and it hasn't clicked. I mean, a lot of fans would kind of talk about when we're doing La Liga games is, you know, where's the Yunus Musa that we see for the national team? And
a lot of times that was, like you're saying, down to the fact that he's playing out of position or a different position than his best.
There's obviously a reason why he's playing there,
Right.
Because the coaching staff is not seeing him being as instrumental in the attack as they see with the national team. So, super talented player, just needs to figure out what that next move is. I think we're in this really weird situation because we talk so often that maybe U.S. players didn't get the opportunities at bigger clubs that they potentially deserved. Well, here was a chance where we had this couple-year window where a bunch of American players got to really big clubs, and it hasn't quite worked out for them. And so that next move is crucial. I agree with you 100%.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.